Hi everyone, this is Laura Godenek with Laura Godenek Therapeutic Astrology. I'm here to give you the astrology for the weeks of January 22nd through February 4th, 2024. I'm also a therapist, so I'll be kind of adding a therapeutic lens as well, and ways that we can work with the energy, ways that we can harness our own power and free will. So if you connect with this content, feel free to like, subscribe, leave a comment. I also love hearing about how the astrology is impacting you and any questions that you might have. So getting started, we are coming off of a really intense weekend. We just had the Sun conjoin Pluto, and then they both moved into Aquarius. So they conjoined in Capricorn, and then they both moved pretty much at the same time into the sign of Aquarius. So you might have noticed some intense thoughts and feelings and situations and interactions with people. There might have been themes around anger, passion, just deep, intense feelings, power, themes around power and who has power, who holds it, maybe some deep insights into your own mind or the mind of someone else, things like that. So we're coming off of a pretty big weekend. So this upcoming week, there are also some bigger things happening. The more intense things are later in this first week during the weekend. But we start off the week on Tuesday the 23rd with Venus, goddess of love, beauty, connection, relationships, heading into the sign of Capricorn. So this feels like a big relief because Venus has been in a nebulous square with Neptune. So squares are difficult aspects. They're 90 degrees between two planets. That is an aspect. Aspects are various mathematical distances from each other in the sky. And squares are challenging. You know, Neptune is a planet about dreams, illusions, confusion, fogginess, what we yearn for, long for. And Venus square Neptune might have brought up some confusing feelings around relationships, maybe a sense of deception or being deceptive or being, there might be just kind of like what's really going on here. You might have experienced some grief around relationships, some longing or yearning or disappointments or things not being very clear, etc. So when Venus heads into Capricorn, Capricorn is very practical, earthy, let's get down to business. So it's things I think clear up a little bit. There's maybe some ease and relief in the part of your chart that contains Capricorn. This is where Mars is. Mars is the god of war and can indicate conflict and challenges. Mars is strong in the sign of Capricorn, so it's likely that you might have felt more motivated, you might have noticed more of a drive to do things, get things done, to be more organized, etc. But still, Mars is Mars. Mars is a planet about conflict and disagreements and things that are frictiony. So at the same time, the part of our chart that has contains Capricorn, there's been a whole lot of things going on. This is where Mercury was retrograde and is now still moving through in a direct motion. So we've been also really reflecting on something around this part of our charts, reviewing, rethinking, considering, etc. So part of the charts that contain Capricorn are getting a lot of attention and a lot of energy right now. So Venus heading into Capricorn's practical, organized. There's a sense of thinking about the long term, thinking about what makes sense, what's sustainable in relationships. So yeah, it's kind of I think it's a nice place for Venus to be. We have a full moon in Leo on Thursday, the 25th. This is going to be at 5 degrees of Leo, and it's going to be in opposition to Pluto, who just moved into Aquarius, the sign opposite of Leo. So full moons always bring something to light. They illuminate something. And so we are illuminating something with regards to our Leo house, whatever house that is for you. Those themes and topics there's something being highlighted. And it might, because it's in opposition to Pluto, there might be something kind of intense or passion driven, or kind of a sense of, Pluto's a planet about like life or death stakes. It feels kind of like a crisis. So I have to say something or I have to do something because the stakes are so high. That kind of intense feeling is very Plutonian, and so there might be those qualities connected to this full moon in Leo. Leo is also a sign that loves to perform, that loves to be seen, recognized, and so thinking about where it is you want to be seen and recognized, and maybe even be a little more playful. Leo's known for being a very playful sign. On the same day, Mars and Mercury, Mercury, this is on Friday, Mercury makes a square to Chiron. So Chiron is an asteroid about where we feel a little wounded or where there's some pain. So there might be some navigating your own pain, navigating your own wounds, like what feels ouchy, what's hurting, and doing a little bit of investigation around that. Mars, we have to be a little careful. Mars rules over things that are sharp and hot, and it can be very irritating. So there might be some irritation that arises this upcoming week. And there's potential to be kind of easily triggered or things activating you more. And so just, observe that, observe what's hurting, observe your reaction to that and the thoughts you have around that. And I would say, don't necessarily do anything about it yet. Mars can have, when we act with, intense Mars aspects, it can have some kind of dire consequences sometimes, or consequences that we would prefer not to have. It can be very reactionary, essentially. So, so Saturday the 27th, there's quite a lot happening. The sun is making a square to Jupiter. The sun represents our conscious awareness. Jupiter is about our sense of belief and faith and optimism and confidence. And so with squares, a bit more of a challenging aspect. When it's to a benefic planet like Jupiter, it's usually not all that bad or challenging. The one thing I would kind of make note of is overdoing something, overcommitting, overpromising, being really confident, but maybe like a little too confident. So kind of checking your ego, checking yourself a little bit, and practicing some humility. Although for those of you who are maybe a little too humble or a little too held back, this might be a really good day to actually step into that confidence, to be a little, step into that ego a little bit more. So it kind of depends on like you as a person, like what do you tend towards? If you're already someone who's really confident and believes in yourself, then yeah, check yourself a little bit. But otherwise, it could be actually really empowering. There might be some kind of disconnect or confliction between the intellect. So the sun in Aquarius is an air sign. It's very, in tune with big ideas or big complicated ideas about society, about how things should be, about the way the world could be. It's very kind of idealistic and very connected to ideas. Whereas Jupiter is in Taurus, an earth sign about the body and sensuality and pleasure. And so there might be some confliction between our drive for intellectual connection versus sensual connection or sensual experience. On the same day, Mercury, planet of the mind and communications and local travel and technology, is making a conjunction with Mars, god of war. So this could also be a day where you have a busy mind. There could be lots of chatter, lots of talking, lots of conversing. There might be just a heightened sense of anxiety, perhaps, and maybe a heightened sense of like wanting to get something done quickly. And it could be a really great day for writing, for if you might have lots of things in your mind. And so a good way to, especially if it if you have some anxiety and there's like racing thoughts, really good way to manage that is to write it all down, just like word vomit on a piece of paper and get it out. So that's one way to go about it. You might also just like really enjoy finding someone that you can just talk, just blabber on with for a couple hours. I would be mindful about being too hasty on this day. Mercury-Mars combinations can result in accidents sometimes, or just being a little too quick-tempered. Be mindful of the words that you speak. It's a day to be courageous with your words and to say what you truly think and feel and to be honest, but we can always do that kindly, and sometimes Mars-Mercury combinations can have us acting rashly or saying things that we didn't mean to say, or that came out a little bit too harsh. So just kind of, be mindful of how you're communicating. Using nonviolent communication is a really great way to navigate this energy. So that's kind of using, I statements like I feel blank, state a feeling, when blank, state an observation that isn't a judgment. So for instance, or you can do it even backwards. When I see dishes in the sink, observation, I feel angry, emotion. So anyway, that's some tools. You can even Google nonviolent communication on Google and find more resources there. Venus makes a sextile to Saturn on this day as well. So at the same time, this is helping to bring a stabilizing force to relationships, bring some practicality, bring some grounding, and maybe even planning. So kind of a mixed bag of a day. The energy could definitely be used for good, and it kind of feels like there might be something that needs to be said or that needs to come out, but just kind of doing it tactfully and honestly and carefully. So then on Sunday the 28th, Mercury makes a trine to Uranus. Mercury, once again, planet of the mind, communications. Uranus is a planet about freedom, breakthroughs, breakdowns, changes, unexpected changes. So this feels like there might be some unexpected conversations or changes of mind that come easily. There could be some breakthroughs that come through conversation. You might have a lot of new ideas too, so pay attention on this day to some new ideas that are innovative. And then Venus also makes a trine to Jupiter on this day. So Venus and Jupiter are the two benefics in astrology. They bring good things. They help us experience joy, celebration, love, peace. And so it might be a day for that. There might be something you want to celebrate, or you might find a way to find peace in relationships, or healing, or a sense of hope or abundance. And this could be connected to that to Saturday the 27th, when we have that kind of tense Mercury Mars energy of like needing to say something or needing to just get something out there. Sometimes we need to have conflict or to face conflict and express hard things in order to find peace and harmony and relationships, and to find that mutual sense of understanding. So I think Sunday the 28th is a really, really beautiful day. There's lots of potential for healing and hope and connection with others. And then Monday the 29th, Mars makes a trine to Uranus. Uranus also recently stationed direct a couple days ago. I can't remember what day, I didn't write it down, but Uranus has been retrograding. And so whenever a planet that's been recently retrograding stations direct and is moving forwards again, and another planet makes an aspect to that planet that was retrograde, it's usually like something is turning around, or there's there's something, a change in fortune. And usually it's like something that's been difficult is turning around and getting better. So Mars-Uranus combinations often speak to breakthroughs. They often speak to the courage to do something differently, try something new out, or the desire to break through the mold and step outside of the box. So really good day, once again, for innovation and taking action that is different from your usual patterning. So that can really help, especially if you've been in any sort of rut, mentally or emotionally, thinking about what is the rut that I'm in, and what actions have I been taking that are contributing to this rut? Like, where am I responsible? Like, what have I been doing, right? Because we're not solely victims to our circumstance. There's often something that we are also doing to contribute to the situation. Not all the time, of course. Some people really are just victims, but often we are contributing to our rut, to our depression, to our anxiety, to our unhappiness in relationships, etc. So highlighting the patterns there of what you're doing to contribute to your whatever it is, and doing it differently, trying something new. Friday, February 2nd, Mercury makes a sextile to Neptune. You might not even notice this, it's really fast. It's a good day for daydreaming, relaxing, escaping, finding maybe like a fantasy novel or movie, or just something to kind of escape from the drudgery of to-do lists. Like don't do any hard work if you can help it. And then on Sunday, February 4th, Mercury heads into Aquarius, and this is where Pluto just moved into. So Mercury heading into Aquarius immediately is going to bring some more intense conversations. Woo! Intense conversations, transformations of the mind. Pluto is a planet about death and rebirth. It's a planet about the alchemical process of being reborn after like something really difficult, yucky, hard. Pluto is a planet about crisis, or what feels like a crisis. But that's why it's a planet about transformation. It's because often we need to go through a crisis or really difficult truths and emotional experiences to be reborn, to emerge into something new. So Mercury moving into Aquarius is going to bring about maybe some more clarity around what Pluto's ingress or into Aquarius is about for you. So whatever house this is for you, wherever you have Aquarius on the cusp, whatever house, those topics are going to be, there might be some more information that comes to you about like what this is about. So yeah, and things might feel kind of more intense mentally, emotionally, but it's a great day for writing. It's a really great day for getting in touch with your own psyche, with your own thoughts, beliefs, feelings, really digging deep into what you think, why, and how that's impacting your life. Like, how are the unconscious beliefs, how do those drive behaviors, which drive outcomes, which drive feelings, and what might you want to change? What might you want to do differently? So that's the astrology for the next couple weeks. Lots of really big stuff coming up, and I hope this was useful. I'm available for consultations. Please reach out. Otherwise, I hope you have a lovely couple of weeks. Bye.